find out what is the commitment to renal failure in Nevis, and I'm yet to find it.
Allow the people to do their work in accordance with the relevant legislation, and he must not overreach, because when he makes those suggestions, he is in a sense misleading the population here.
Speak your mind. Defend your country. Call in. Numbers to call: 869-669-7312. That's 869-669-7312 or 917-460-2187. That's 917-460-2187. On target here on 2020 Vision Radio every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. On target. Be a part of it. On target.
So I'm your host, Kelvin Daly, and I thank you for joining us once again.
Join the conversation.
I looked at it on Facebook and I read the speech, and I'm trying to find out what is the commitment to renal failure in Nevis, and I'm yet to find it.
Be a part of the debate.
What he needs to do is to allow the people to do their work in accordance with the relevant legislation, and he must not overreach, because when he makes those suggestions, he is in a sense misleading the population here.
Speak your mind. Defend your country. Call in. Numbers to call: 869-669-7312. That's 869-669-7312 or 917-460-2187. That's 917-460-2187. On target here on 2020 Vision Radio every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. On target. Be a part of it.
Pico, the way to go for residential, commercial, and industrial wiring, data, security, UPS, and generator installation. When you need electrical work done now, done right, done at an affordable price, contact Finney's Electrical Company. Call or WhatsApp 665-1916 or email pico_1166@yahoo.com. Pico, the way to go.
One thing, we want we land. We want we say. Everybody to that we going hold on today.
We want we land, we want we save for our descendants. With some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and lavandera. el impulso, todo son bien vida. Boy, take it away.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Why am I hearing an echo so badly? There's always something. Why am I hearing this echo too? You hearing it?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah. My set is good.
1 2 1 2. That's much better, ain't it?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a better fit. Somebody always seems to be finagling with the switches. Well, let me start again and say good afternoon to all of you who have taken time out of your busy Saturday schedule to be with us for another edition of On Target. And as usual, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm your host, Kelvin Daly, and in studio with me, the man himself, the mayor of Hamilton, Tulu Weeks, and just walked in fashionably late in his orange shirt. Orange, that is? Yeah?
Looks so.
It looks so. The man himself, Henry Daniel, and so we have a full complement of crew today. Henry was off last week, mourning the loss of his sister, and of course we would have sent greatest condolences to him and his family. But let me say good afternoon to all of you who have joined us, whether you're on FM Dial, YouTube, Twitch, of course on the Facebook feed, and we welcome your calls, your comments, your participation in whatever way you feel comfortable. And so let me first say good afternoon to the 5 persons and the others who have made podium today. Starting off number 1, dethroning the king himself. Rhonda has not been number 1, and she was down the line last week, but she's number 1 today. Kitchen King is number 2. followed by Ruthlyn Hill, number 3. Number 4, the man himself, Burl Jones. And number 5, Tamaki Saladid over there in St. James. And so those are the 5 wonderful people. And following very close behind the lady herself, the star, beautiful star of the protest march yesterday. When she got onto the podium, young fellas were watching.
Muchacha?
No, Janet Girl Holler.
Oh. Oh, yeah, by the time she get on the stage, all the eyes were on her.
Yes, beautiful queen. And then we have Robin Latham is with us. Good afternoon, Robin. And we have over there in Mount Village, Hildred Davis, followed very, very closely by one of the best dressed men I know, Oral Joseph. And Simeletta Ovaltine Jeffers is with us. So is Gina Tyson. Make sure you say tell Charles hello for us. And then we have Millicent Cornelius over there in Prospect. And who else we have? We have Gigi Williams Skeet. Gigi Williams Skeet. Such a beautiful lady. And Coca Tea. Not Coco. Coca Tea. Like Coca-Cola. This is Coca Tea. I like it. I like it a lot.
First time I'm hearing that.
So welcome Kokati, and then we have Norma Jean down there in St. Martin. Daldria Dalpenny, my number 1 fan down there on St. Kitts, she's with us. And so is Cecile Hobson over there in Cotton Ground. I saw her briefly the other day. Always lovely. And Gemini Nesbitt up there in Canada. Good afternoon, Gemini. Muriel Brown and Judy Cornelius Webb. I haven't seen that name in a while. Judy Cornelius Webb from Judy Cornelius Webb Estate. You haven't heard me call that name for a while, right? Maybe she signs on late, so we miss her, but we're glad to have her back in the top 30. Judy, Iona Muchacha Door over there in Bath Village. I see you taking on Miss Myers today. Well done. Good job. Sometimes you have to challenge people with their foolishness. You know, for an educator, I'm always disappointed when people who are entrusted with educating our children are themselves so limited in their scope of understanding. It's shocking. All right. Cecile Maynard is with us, and so is Deacon Oral Jeffers. Followed very, very close by Olivia David, Marcella Barbecue, BQ Jones down there in St. Thomas, Sharon Stapleton up there in Boston, Vilena, the queen herself, Queen B, I should say Queen V, Ali. And then we have Dr. Glenville Liebert is with us, and so is Ian the man himself, Hanley. How are you, my brother? Desmond Claxton. He likes to make a lot of trouble, you know, Desmond. But, you know, he's all good. Good afternoon to you, Desmond. Earl Mascal and Ingrid Daniel Farrell. They're both in the house. Brendan Tyson and the best dressed man on Nevis. And I suggest, I would argue in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, Patty Patterson. I saw Patty in the march yesterday, and you would have thought that, you know, he could have put on some less, something less.
You want him to change his nature?
Patty was jamming in Gucci. Patty, talking your business, boy. All right. Cheech Warner is with us, and so is Rosalind Brown, Alvy Davis, Sylvester, the mayor of Cotton Ground, Pemberton, Charlene Jeffers, Drexel Barton, John Forbes. Who else do we have? We have, oh, my dear sister-in-law, Sindrine Lewis Dale is with us, Bumpy Moving, and down there in St. Thomas, a real queen, Delicious Nichols Brown, D. Keynes, and who else we have? I think that's it for now. And so
send your sister-in-law something for her birthday.
she'll get whatever she gets from me when she comes, whenever she comes.
It has to be in person.
Yes, of course.
You're not into this modern thing.
That's my favorite sister-in-law. I can't diss her like that, you know.
But she'll have to get it in person.
Oh, definitely.
You're not sending anything virtual.
Oh, no. See, you don't humble. You have to humble yourself before queens, you know.
Yes, she looks good.
And she she makes sure that my barrel is sent on time.
Right.
Packed,
So you get your barrel in person, so you will give you a gift. You know, I looked at her celebrating her 65th birthday, and I'm saying to myself, but wait, I was teaching these people. I was their form teacher and I was a year older.
She looks so damn good.
Right, I mean, I don't know what was happening to my eyes then.
Not wrong with your eyes. It is what it is.
No, I'm seeing now at 65. According to her, what I should have seen when she was what?
It's a good
15,
thing. It's a good thing.
16.
It's a good thing you didn't see.
Exactly. The history might be a different history. So
Of course.
I am very happy for my brother. Let me put that in there right now.
You know, but you know, Kel, I was the farm teacher. The first year I was teaching. For 47 of those people, you know, in the fourth farm, 34 women.
Wow.
And 13 men, and all of the boys in the class were quiet and cool, like Jonathan Liebert, Keith Glasgow was there, and the women were robust, noisy.
And have they continued that trajectory?
Well, you tell me.
Okay. And one thing about St. Louis Daily,
Pat Claxton was there.
She don't take nothing from nobody.
The girls at Jessup's, Belinda Tyson and Sandra Tyson, just to name a few.
Okay, I see the trajectory very clearly.
Very clearly.
Bernadette Tyson, oh Lord.
Belinda Tyson.
Belinda Tyson, I leave that.
Sandra Tyson.
I leave that. I ain't touching that.
And Pat Claxton.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We're moving on. Today is the birthday of the world famous, the man himself, Keith Barzy. He's celebrating today. He kind of kept it quiet. He didn't say much, but he's on my Facebook feed, and all the persons who celebrate on my feed, I get a notice. And so today is Keith's birthday. And so I want you to all join me in wishing him a wonderful birthday today. And of course, we do have to sing for him because he's such a special person. So if you see him later, or maybe today, tomorrow,
you're passing by for a drink.
Buy him a drink.
You're taking a brew. You're taking your brew to him.
I am not doing anything.
Tulu is not taking his brew.
You just talk too much.
I do not believe that.
Let us sing for Kibo.
The very reason for this singing.
You're still talking?
Yeah, because I am convinced that brew is the reason why we are singing.
Let's sing.
What's say about talking too much?
Sing, man, sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
And as usual from us in the studio, Kibo, may live to be 101, and that's 101 minus a day. So we don't have to see you go. May God continue to bless you with good health, strength, and of course.
We taught him to, so.
Yeah, you couldn't be finished for
No, what I mean is that they're living long, Kel.
I understand.
And as a result, they're doing well. Go ahead.
Give me a break, man.
Go ahead.
All right. If you want to call in and wish Kiba happy birthday, feel free to do so while we continue the program. We do have to leave at 3 because I've been given a notice by the engineer that cricket follows right after, and so he's asking that we vacate the studio and nobody calls me at 5 minutes to 3. He's asked me to tell you that. All right, we gotta go. We gotta keep the show going. A few notices. We have the launch of our dear candidate on the 16th of this month. That's next week, Thursday. Mr. Mario Phillip. He is going to be representing the NRP in the federal elections, which consist of St. Thomas's Parish and St. James's Parish. And so we are going to be celebrating his thrust into politics, elective politics, and he will be having a motorcade and then culminating into a raucous meeting there at Jessup's. And so the motorcade leaves Butler's Community Center around 5 o'clock, goes southeast, around the island, and you just got to follow the leader. All right. So if you are so inclined, and it's possible, we'd love to have you on the motorcade. If you can't make the motorcade, then the launch begins at 7 o'clock sharp. There at just above the gas station there at Jessup's. All right. So please come out and support our dear brother and candidate, Mr. Mario Philip. All right. A reminder for those of you who knew my brother Steve, there will be a memorial service for him here on Nevis on the 19th, which is next week Sunday, at the Charlestown Methodist Church, beginning at 9 o'clock. And it's not a full memorial service. We will be part of the service, and then we will proceed down to Gallows Bay to dispense with his ashes into the ocean there at Gallows Bay, where we spent so much of our childhood. And so if you are a friend of the family, a friend of the family, or family of the family, we invite you to come out next week Sunday at the Charlestown Methodist Church and celebrate the life of our brother Steve. All right. St. Paul's breakfast is on the. Sorry, one more thing. Yeah. St. Paul's breakfast, the best breakfast in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, will be on the 25th day of July. And as usual, we are giving you 2 weeks' notice, 2.5 weeks' notice, for you to find a few pennies to help us donate some breakfasts for persons who are deserving. Last breakfast, we were very, very happy with the number of persons we were able to help. It came to a point where, we were basically catering for just such persons who donated. And so it was a wonderful time. By 8:30 we were gone, breakfast was gone, and so we want a repeat of that. So dig deep and find a few pennies in that change purse you have, and make sure that we get it to help some families here on Nevis. You'll be surprised how grateful people are for our breakfast so early in the morning, and it's always a pleasure for me to deliver and see the smiles on your faces. All right, so thank you in advance. Date is the 25th, but if you want to make a donation anytime before then, feel free, as usual. All right? All right. We got to talk about the march, Tulu. Yesterday, the Free Society, the Nevis Civil Society would have engineered a march protesting the Destiny development here on Nevis. And it was carried live, so if you missed it in person, you could have seen it. You can still go onto YouTube and see it. And it was the largest march I've seen in a long time, Tulu. You were right up in front. You and Danny were circulating all through the crowd. The speeches were coming from persons who are not normally politicians. I was moved, really moved by the speeches, because these are genuine people who have come out and put themselves on the line to protest against a development such as Destiny, which is dangerous to all of us. And so I do thank all of those. I thank the organizers. The party leader, I believe, represented very, very well in her speech. She opened the batting, and I think she did an exceptional job tying the fact that NRP is the one who have been leading the fight, and it will be NRP in government who will stop Destiny. All right, so that she made that point emphatically clear, that it will be done by the NRP and stop it. But the speeches by Livingston Williams, Gaskell, Janet Grell Hall, Ras Iroy, Yashan, I mean, they were just speaking from the heart, things that really matter. No spin, just pure facts and how they felt about the development. And so it was one of the most touching protest marches I've seen in a long time. Tolu, what do you think about it?
Well, let me first of all say thanks to DJ Marusho who made sure that we were able to get that with the Citizens Coalition Partnership along with civil society. Yes, it was a great march. I was happy to see the amount of experts that were there at the starting point and coming through with us. And then saying, listen, here it is that we have persons of white-colored persuasion who see in need of trying to save Nevis and to preserve Nevis for all of us to enjoy. And then I was further moved when I saw pastors, a part of it, Pastor Pemberton, Pastor Prentice, Pastor Franklin Manners and Mrs. Bonnie Byron. My heart was lifted to see them, because sometimes I am critical of pastors not lending their voice to what's going on in the struggle, and I think that they have the moral and God-given responsibility to speak out against injustice in the island and in the country wherever they sees it. It's part of their duty. And so I was happy to see those. And then Jam Down was up. I was happy to see he kept his word. And then there's a guy from all the way Newton Ground, Clive Francis. He listens to us religiously, and he indicated to me, I will be there. And even though that he is not in the greatest of health, he made sure that he came and was a part of this, and he was in the struggle with us. And so to all of those who were part of it, I was so blessed to see them out. You know, you're accustomed to go around and you see 10 persons coming through, but the amount of persons was there. My heart was lifted, and I'm looking forward to the other leg that is in the St. Kitts on Friday, and I'm looking forward, God's willing, to be there to be a part of that also gathering.
Hensley, you.
Yeah, I was there, of course, and I think just two very quick points on that. One, I think we want, as adults, we want to be able to say, and I think Yason made that point. When your children ask you, well, daddy or mommy or auntie or uncle, where were you during this time? You can't say, well, I was cooking or washing or what have you. I was at the march. And I think that's an important issue to raise, that we have a responsibility to the succeeding generations. So we came to register our voices. And I too would like to join in commending everybody. I thought Carleen did a very good job in leading the process,
of course.
leading the chant. And I am just reminded always, you know, in psychology, they say never doubt what can happen by a few organized and committed people. And I want to commend all those persons who attended. And it means, Kel, that this must register somewhere with the local government, with the federal government.
Well,
it must register that this is wrong.
The mere fact that they haven't had any comment of any note, just some of their blue Kool-Aid drinkers sniping from the side. No, I think they were very, very stunned by the level of turnout. I think they perhaps were looking for a failure, they didn't get it. Instead, they got a resounding response from the people of Nevis, whether whatever color or political stripe they were in, persons came out to register their disgust and the opposition to Destiny. And I see a note here saying that Pastor Douglas was also there too.
Yes.
So we had quite a bit.
That is true.
And the prayer from Pastor Prentice.
Oh my goodness, that's so powerful.
That was out of this world.
You know, he made mention, Kel, that in the Bible, people had to march around the walls of Jericho to get justice. And he says he prefers that we don't have any wall so that we don't have to march around. So his presence there yesterday was to help to ensure that we don't have to go march around no wall.
That's
a major point.
A good reason not to have the wall.
Exactly, but that was a major point for me.
All right.
Let me say this too, that I was happy to have my granddaughter a part of the march.
Oh, okay.
She was scheduled to be in St. Kitts, and when I told her about the march, she scratched all her plans. Daddy, I got to be a part of this, because she is vested in what is going on. She's just 16 years old, but she is vested in what's going on. She wants to save our country, and she's saying this thing is wrong. This thing cannot be good. So the young people are understanding that, and I was proud to have her with me. This is the second march that I've been a part of, and she was a part of it, and I'm happy that she's involved, invested. And I'm encouraging other parents and other young people to get involved. This country is yours, and you have to save it. Try to help to save it for yourselves.
All right, let's take this call. It's gone. We dropped the call, so I guess they'll call back. We're going to move on because we got quite a bit to talk about, and we only have an hour and a half left. All right. Now, somebody would have sent me a screenshot of a post made by the Honorable Latoya Jones regarding a comparison, not a comparison, about the good work that CCM would have done in housing. And I had to respond. I really had to respond because when you leave these things when you're unattended, they tend to fester, and the lies tend to be perpetuated. You know, people start believing them. All right, so I had to respond. So I just for a moment want to do a comparative analysis of the housing schemes by both political parties, NRP and CCM. All right, so let us do that first, because in her presentation she indicated. Oh, okay. Let's see if the call is coming in. All right. Good afternoon, on target.
Yeah, good afternoon to you guys, gentlemen. I just want to come in early today. I haven't really seen the march, yesterday yet. But from what you guys have just said, I just want to say congratulations to you guys for finally getting in the streets. And a special thanks to you, Daily, Tulu, Daniel in the studio, and special thanks to DJ Marisha and the civil society who came on board and were able to get this march put on yesterday. I want to say thanks to all the persons that came over from St. Kitts. And when next week Friday come, I would like to see all the persons who was there present and Nevis to go on over to St. Kitts, because this is a very important issue for us divisions and the Federation as a whole. Me personally, bro, I can't really be there in person at this time, but I know when that next election comes up, I'm going to be there to put my X where I see it fit.
All right.
And I just want to say to everybody who showed up yesterday, thanks a lot, man. And you guys keep the pressure on. Thanks a lot.
All right, brother. All right. Yeah, so she would have indicated the quantum, the number of houses that were built by CCM. She says it's 346. 346 in 13 years. 346 homes in 13 years. NRP under J.W. Parry, and the Deputy Premier is right here in the office with us right now, Hayes Daniel, under the NRP, Roberta Hector, who is the Minister of Housing and Lands, and the entire NRP family. We built 375 homes in 6 years.
Repeat that.
375 years, 375 homes in one term and 1 year. 5 years plus 1. They built 346 in 13 years. Shameful. And then another comparison in the cost of the houses.
Oh my.
The NRP homes were 30 to 40% cheaper than the current CCM price structure for homes, whether it's 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, or 3 bedrooms. They're all coming in 30 to 40% higher than what NRP was selling homes for back in the day. Last comparison, NRP had a very resilient program to build properties, build homes on your land. If you had a piece of land that you either bought or you inherited and you had clear title to, the NRP had a program to assist you in owning your own home, in your own community, on your own land. There's nothing more disturbing than when you have to leave your community where you want to stay and have to go clear across the island to another housing development because that is where housing is available. So I know persons from Charlestown who are now resident at Maddens. Maddens. You can't get much further than that because there are not enough units in St. Paul's or St. John's. All right? Yeah, so those are the three major comparisons that I felt it was necessary to make, and so persons can understand side by side who are the kings
Let
in this housing.
Let me add one more to what you said. because NRP made it easier for the less fortunate among us to own a home. Since CCM is in there, they have changed that, and you have to go to the bank to secure loans for them to build your house.
Oh, very good point, Tulu. I had that, and I was looking for it in my page.
Okay.
Where NRP on
corporation.
you could have, if you were really on the other side of economic survivability, you had the option of financing your home through the corporation, and it helped quite a bit of persons to become homeowners.
True.
But,
So thank you for that.
I just to say, Kel, quickly that with the corporation, some of them who got the 3-bedroom homes, they paid no interest for 10 years. I mean, all of us pay interest, so you can imagine how much it helped you. And in addition to that, those who were unable to pay, I remember Mr. Hector and I sitting down together and say, fellas, let's see, we have people in our constituency, Patrice, Prairie, all of us sat down and said, why, let's help. And I think when we left government, there were some 60 persons paying through the corporation. And I used to keep the letter where Jeffords wrote them shortly after to say, hey, you have now to go to the private sector.
Yeah.
And I think people have to remember that. And finally, Kel, one important point, in areas, you mentioned that people in Charleston had to go to Maddens. One important point is that we bought private lands for people to build homes. So the entire development in Cotton Grove was land owned by the Saunders, bought the land, and made the same homes affordable to people.
In the community.
So people were able to stay. So I'm sure you could find land in Charlestown where you could buy and expand the opportunities.
Okay,
So-
let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon. Kel, wasn't there a program as well where if you're living in the diaspora and you have land, you must come home, you must retire and come home, or you must choose to move back to Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Parry, the government, Mr. Parry was in, they would help you
Of course.
with, and they're telling us now to come home, but what is their offer? Mr. Parry had a program set up to help us if we come back. You know, so I don't even know what that girl was putting out.
Yeah, thank you for the
There's so much to show that the NRP had better plans and better offers. So that's just a little piece of a joke that she made. So
joking, right? Thank you very much, Carl. Those are good points that need to be reiterated, because when it comes to housing, you can't beat NRP. You really can't. And, they will try, but there's no... When you have the interest of the people as number one, you'll always find a way to make sure. Because we always believe, a home will be the single largest investment in your entire life.
Big time.
But owning a property means so much to people. And study after study has shown that persons who own homes, families who own homes,
Stability.
tend to be much more economically stable, socially stable. They tend to be going to college or in trade schools. They tend to be very grounded, knowing that they own something that's significant. And the children of homeowners always want to have their own homes. So it's a multiplier effect. And that is why Premier Parry and his government spent so much effort in ensuring that home ownership becomes a right, not a privilege, a right of the Nevisians who deserve homes.
Well, one of the other things, Kel, to note is that those homes were being built during the financial crisis. So we took the view that the way to keep the economy rolling is to build these homes, employ the construction workers. When the construction workers are employed, it means that TDC and Hasford, them are getting building material sold and their families are taken care of. And just to underscore the social stability, if you look at the problem with crime right across the region, right across the English-speaking Caribbean, you would show poor housing is an indicator. It drives people to criminal activity because the instability you in Jessup this week, you have to move for rent, you have to move to another place and so on. So that housing stability underpins our social relations.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, Derry and Daniel and Toro.
Good afternoon.
Remember, Parry built these houses in hard economic time. People from across the region want to know. They ask Douglas, how I get this to in Nevis? Douglas tell him, go and ask Mr. Parry. Even Douglas himself couldn't understand with a little bit of finance, hard economic times, and Parry get to do so much in the Nevis. People forget. When people come from all over the Caribbean, come Nevis, come look.
True.
To see how we do this model.
True. Very true.
Remember, the same piece of land that they buy for the bank in Bangor, as soon as they enter into Bangor to go. Parry, they want that same piece of land to put down a project, set of houses for Bangor, and they undermine Parry, same Parry walk to buy the land from Kawaja. But at the same time, at the people of Bangor, Parry was securing that land for. And for himself, you know, like how he secured the land there for he and his wife to the bank. So this man you really have no good, CCM have no good for Nevis people. And people need to understand. And I like how I pounding out all the good that NRP does. And without the NRP government, Nevis not going nowhere.
True.
Nowhere Nevis going without the NRP government. Listen up here.
Thank you, sir. We're going to move on, gentlemen.
Just before you go, I think it's important that we go back in history and let people know that this Housing Land Corporation was established under an NRP government headed by Arthur Evelyn. And the corporation was established to help the poorer people in the society, genuinely poor people, okay? And a poor person like me was able to buy a plot that they live on for $7,000 and something dollars. Okay? Others were at one point it was down in certain area. You had a whole acre for what, $6,000? Okay, this is the good of the NRP, to empower the people of Nevis. And while they were creating this atmosphere for us to have the lands, they were creating employment. And so people were working, so we were able to pay for the piece of land that we had. There's no comparison between what CCM would have done in relation to working through the Land Development Corporation and what NRP did. Zero. But I'm not surprised to hear what the young lady put out, because they are led by a leader who is given to lies, and he will only be comfortable with those around him who will tell lies.
If it was up to me, if it were up to me, if I was the Premier of Nevis or the Minister of Housing and Lands, this is what I would do. This is what I would do going forward. I'm not speaking for the party, I'm speaking for me. If
you speak for
so
you.
I don't want anybody to go back and say I'm trying to undermine the party leadership. This is a hypothetical situation for me. But since I'm in the executive, you know, it is something that means a lot to the island of Nevis. So hear me out. If I was a Minister of Housing, I would have allocated $50 million over 5 years. 1 year term, 1 5-year term. $50 million in one term for housing.
Okay.
$50 million. And here's my breakdown for this spending. Because $50 million is only $10 million a year. And here's my philosophy on this. There's a great demand for housing on Nevis.
Big time.
Huge demand. A lot of persons that are returning from college, they want to be out from under their parents' house, they want to get their own place. There are a lot of persons right now who are renting who wish not to be renting anymore because they have no asset in it. So I would spend $30 million over 5 years in affordable homes. In communities that people live. Wherever you find the land, if you have your own space, fine. $30 million over 5 years. I would spend $10 million in a concept called rent to own, which are more apartment style complexes, where after you contributed X amount of dollars over 3 years, you can opt to buy that unit using 80% of the money you've deposited for rent over those 3 years. If you want to sell it back, you can do so. But it is yours. Not everybody wants a freestanding house. Some people are quite comfortable in apartments because at that time is what you can afford. It's a step up. You can build equity in the property, sell it on, and then use that money now to buy a family freestanding house. If so you choose. And the third aspect of my plan would be another $10 million to recover all of the abandoned properties across the island. In agreement, of course, with families who own those, who own them and wish to be a part of this process. I mean, there are a lot of properties that are contentious, in legal limbo and all that. We're not touching those for the time being. But there are a lot of properties who the owners cannot afford to fix them up. And we have such a housing crunch. Why not participate in a program? Public-private partnership, where you bring those units back into the system and provide housing for people who need this. So $50 million over 5 years, I think, is workable. I think once you work out all the legal implications and you go to Parliament and pass the enabling legislation, I believe you can get this thing done and done with style.
I'm happy that you brought up the rent to own idea. It is something that was put up by the NRP. Unfortunately, people voted against it. The system opposed it. But you know, I've heard Barbados talking about trying to implement that policy. Jamaica and Antigua, they're now talking about doing this very same thing that we propose and would have been advanced in if we were in office. And so, again, it takes people with vision, people with foresight to do these things.
We started this talk about rent to own since 2017.
Okay. 2017, it was in the manifesto.
And I remember a meeting Zook and them had in New York. And they were like, there's stupid NLP people talk about rent to own, and nobody want no rent to own, and blah, 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 blah. And then 2 years later, Gaston Brown in Antigua started rent to own. In Jamaica, they started rent to own.
Barbados talking about
it. So
Kale, I had some people from Jamaica, and I was showing them the Cherry Garden project. And they said, but wait, you provide all of these, and I remember we had an assessment led by Ev Hanley, the late Ev Hanley, who was at Bank of Nevis. And he was saying that the houses at Cherry Garden, and many of the houses, they did not include the services like roads, water, electricity, and so on. The government took that responsibility. And the Cherry Gardens housing project is regarded as one of the finest in the Caribbean, and for them to compare with us, when I check your numbers, CCM has built an average of 13 houses per year, and we built 62.
I had the privilege.
So 13 to 62.
During the geothermal summit that we had here, I had the privilege to be driving around a Trinidadian on Trinidad, and I decided I'm going to take him around. Took him to Craddock Road project there, and then I took him into Cherry Garden. And he was so fascinated. He's saying that he will love to have something like that in Trinidad. Trinidad is so advanced. And so you see where the NRP would have taken Nevis to made Nevis the envy of the Caribbean and further afield.
You know, I find fascinating that when the National Housing Corp in St. Kitts and under the Labour government toy with the idea of how much housing, 2,000 homes in a Torb or something like that. And when you study houses that were built prior in Stapleton, in Monkey Hill, over there in Tabernacle and those places, St. Paul's, I said to myself, perhaps they needed to come to Nevis and see what a real housing division looks like.
6,000.
You don't have to go all the way to Trinidad to get a builder. We got builders right here that can knock that unit out, that housing division out in no time at all. And so let's move on real quick because we are running out of time very fast. Now, one of the big talks, my friends, is that is a communication received by Caribbean leaders, those leaders who have CBI as part of their revenue, that the European Union, which consists of 25 countries, are proposing that by 2028 that we phase out the CBI, Citizenship by Investment Program. Now, 2 years is very, very short for such a catastrophic request. And so Prime Minister Gaston Brown has basically given them the middle finger and said, no way, Jose, this will devastate our country, our region, and therefore we need to have a conversation about this. All right? Now, none of the other islands, none of the other leadership of the islands has said anything. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis hasn't said anything. Grenada hasn't said anything. Dominica hasn't said anything. So it's the only person that stood up is the outgoing chairman of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, Gaston Brown, and perhaps he's the right person to have said something. All right. Now, here on St. Kitts and Nevis, between 55 and 60% of our GDP, our budget is financed directly from CBI receipts. That is not something you can replace overnight or in 2 years. You understand? It has been a slow boil to get up to that level. We can sit here and blame them for that activity all we like. It does not change the fact it is where it is. 55 to 60%. In the Windward Islands is a little less, about 30 to 40% is a little less, but not less catastrophic if they were to suddenly withdraw that money from their revenue stream. Now, here on St. Kitts and Nevis, quite a bit of our social programs are being financed by CBI directly. The STEP program, the PAP program, and the rent-to-own. The pay for peace. Where I get this thing from? Let's take this call and come back.
Maybe it should have been.
Good afternoon, you're on target. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon. Dr. Daly,
yes.
I was listening the program Tell Me the other night, and there was some comments made concerning the Governor General signing off on the documents.
Well, we're going to get to that. Just tune, we're going to get to that part.
No, I understand, but you say you were running out of time.
No, we got another hour to go, don't worry.
No, what I'm saying, I do not want to go into the meat of that.
Okay.
Remember, accusations were made that the Governor General should do this and should do that. No, that's not her call. The only thing she has to do is sign the document. Because if you recall, in the 1980s, what happened to suburban Innes? There was a bill, and when it went up to him, he said it was unconstitutional. No, that is not his call. The only thing when a bill goes up there, the only thing he has to do is sign it. Whether it's constitutional, that is not his call. He's not a parliamentarian. And I think this is the same situation where the Governor General found herself in. The only thing she could do is sign it. And that's the point I was trying to make.
Okay, well,
thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to get to a little discussion about that in a little bit. All right? So we were talking about this CBI matter and what they pay for right now. All right? It's hard to disaggregate what CBI funds are used for and what the current revenue is paying for because it's all intertwined. Everything goes into the consolidated fund. You really can't separate them too much out anymore. All right? But significant monies, millions of dollars a year, are being spent on poverty alleviation program, the people empowerment program, which provides employment, and then you have the Pay for Peace program and other social safety net programs for youth empowerment, etc., etc. So it's a significant issue. CBI also is a major incentive for investors, both locally and of course foreign, in the tourism sector, in the hotel sector. CBI has made it possible for a lot of investments to come in via those overseas investors. Here on St. Kitts and Nevis, a lot of CBI money is being used on local infrastructure, water projects, road projects, etc., etc. So I'm just trying to give you a sense of how integrated CBI receipts have come in our daily lives. So, like I said, if the EU decides to pull visa-free access because of CBI, what then do we do? Because the European Union is one of the major attractants to those persons who apply for and obtain our CBI passports. They want a way into Europe. And if Europe is no longer in play, it leaves the rest of the world. Will America follow? Well, we don't have visa-free access to America anyway, but will the other countries in the world follow European model and say, you know what? We ain't allowing your visa either. Then what? Then what? So these are serious conversations that need to be had. What will we do going forward? And it's not too late to start talking about it. Dr. Drew was in Europe the other day. I'm assuming that he would have gotten the communication from the European Union, and he went to sort of, see what he could do to derail this 2028 deadline. And I applaud that. I have no difficulty with that. But why is it that only one leader in the Caribbean has come forward? I'll go further with the importance of the CBI. Because the CBI receipts has very, very serious implications for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, the ECCU. For as long as I can remember, gentlemen, the exchange rate, EC to US, has been $2.70 EC to 1 US.
50 years.
50 years of stability. And that stability comes about because of the inflows from programs like CBI. Billions of dollars flow into the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Billions of dollars flow into the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, which is the one charged with stabilizing our economy, stabilizing our currency, So if you destabilize the currency by not having the kind of inflows anymore, the whole region start to have inflation. Your money starts to value less. We are now pegged at 270 for 50 years. You're going to start rising $3 and $4 and $5 per 1 US. What would that do to us?
Kill us.
What would that do to us? We have 8 members in the currency union. 6 of them are sovereign nations: St. Kitts Nevis, Antigua Barbuda, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Grenada. 6. Of that 6, 5 are fully fledged members of the CBI club. Except, of course, St. Vincent, which are just beginning their discovery into CBI. But 5 well-heeled recipients of CBI out of the 6 sovereign nations in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. What will happen to those economies? We can, like I said, we can sit and pontificate, and we can sit and say, oh, they should have never done it. They should have diversified the economy. All that. Fine. That is all. Those are all credible criticisms. The fact is, we are facing a potentially 2-year deadline. What do we do now?
Exactly.
What do we do now? The CBI, like I said, injects massive inflows of foreign exchange, which strengthens the ECCU. huge bank reserves that has been able to suck up any inflationary pressure on the dollar. And this is why the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is so critical in this whole argument. But Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is supported by the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union.
Yeah, no, that's what it is.
And so if you upset that apple cart too much, where the inflows to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank drops off precipitously, it leaves the union in disarray. Just like it happened when you had the collapse in banana, just when it happened, the collapse in sugar, and all those monocrops. CBI is a monocrop. And we can sit all day and cuss as much as we like. It's a monocrop.
Well, I think sorry, I think 2 years is a short time to be able to make critical replacements. But the islands in the same OECS countries, with all the trouble with sugar and bananas, they were able to hold the dollar together. What is needed now, immediately, is rethinking in terms of a diversified approach to the economy. It's always very, very difficult when you're pegging your thing on just one thing all the time. So there is the field of clearly we have to get now with the people who matter. And of course the ECC who has a ton of money in there. The banks.
My fear, gentlemen, is that I don't think we can diversify our economy in 2 years.
No, you can't, but you have to begin.
All right? The process, I feel, has begun. When you look at the money being spent on St. Kitts, for example, in a new cruise pier that over a couple of years ago, when you look at the home porting, when you look at the money expended to the airport, I mean... This is where the geothermal thing must kick. And that is why, Kel, although we say we have to put a portion some blame, when you're making money, you ought to be able to set that geothermal. If we had that geothermal thing set, that is the lifeline now for other industries and things. So we have a government in Nevis really that has been fooling around. One of the critical things is to change the government. There are not ways about that. You have to change the government in Nevis to be able to provide proper, sensible alternatives. The Taiwanese government, Kel, is a big producer of computer chips and so on, technology. We have to begin a conversation with them. I don't know how it's going to play out, but they are a critical partner in helping us. We are one of 10 countries which they have relations with. They can't allow us to collapse. So. Good afternoon, on target.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Daly.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Daniel.
Good afternoon.
I think the point that Mr. Daniel made is one of the most significant points he made for the day. Geothermal should have been done up and ready. Okay? But poor planning by this present administration. It's been running like a headless chicken for the last 6-7 years. Don't know what he's doing. Because if you had geothermal, it means that with AI on the move, the same lands, Navy should be having a data processing center where they will be employing people. Because with AI, you have to have data processing center. And we're making money. But the man is still in a deep sleep. He does not know how to plan. He just go in there for full his pocket and his cronies' pocket. I agree with Mr. Daniels. Geothermal should have been up and running in full flow. And you'll be making money. You could attract other companies to do things in Nevis, where you have stable electricity. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
But that is a position. The position Danny articulated is a position we've been talking about for the longest while.
For the longest while.
We've been saying from day one, invest in geothermal. Let that be the driver of diversifying the economy. Because then with cheap energy, manufacturing follows. Light industry follows. A whole gamut of things follow. We cited even the example of the cost of power in Trinidad, 12 to 14 cents per kilowatt hour, as what is driving manufacturing in Trinidad. Trinidad exports to the rest of the region about $2 billion worth of products every year.
Yes.
Manufactured in Trinidad.
Haricum.
I wonder if people, when they drink a bottle of juice, they look to see where it's made.
Trinidad.
Water.
Clorox.
Nails. Galvanized. You name it.
Steel.
All right? So Trinidad has been able to capitalize on the central theme of cheap energy.
Cheap energy.
All right? And so we have been saying a long time, and that's the reason why Premier Parry, way back in 2006, went to the Parliament, passed the geothermal legislation, got West Indies Power on board. And
Exim Bank.
Exim, I mean, it just, they have fumbled this football. And I really thought by now, gentlemen, I really thought that once the government had gone to Parliament and get
the geothermal bill,
get that
ordinance,
not the ordinance, the
power purchase agreement.
No, in St. Kitts, the Parliament when
okay, yes.
The resolution
to
nationalize geothermal here on Nevis. I really thought that it would have really spurred serious movement of money into geothermal. Instead, what we are doing, we're going hat in hand.
Begging people.
Hat in hand.
What foolishness is this?
16 million from CDB, something from the Kuwaiti Fund, something from here, something from there. In the meantime, the EU is watching us. The EU is poised to cut our throats. And we out there hat in hand like we ain't gonna sense.
Because it's the same thing they did, Kel, a couple of years back. Before we went into the CBI, we were on to the offshore financial services. Every minute is grey list, is blacklist. Because what these governments need to understand, the people in Europe have no interest in us. They want us to live below standard. So whenever they take away the sugar and the banana, which were low-paying jobs anyway, and which were just helping to keep the rural poor alive. And then we went into CBI, and then they said, no. They want to kill, they try to kill the CBI. Then now we gone into the CBI, citizenship by investment. Foreign, everything we giving them, whereas I agree with you, Kel, geothermal is our savior.
Colonization. Let me take the call, we come back to that. Let me take the call.
Good afternoon, your target.
Good afternoon, Dr. Daly.
Good afternoon.
And Chichulu and Mr. Daniel.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Daly, you understand that when you're talking to people who don't have a clue of what you're talking about, don't understand what you're talking about, don't know how to make it happen, it's a waste of time, huh? And if you listen to the other side, they say all you guys do is curse. Now, this information that you're giving here is valuable information, but it's going out to a group of people or a person who don't know what to do with it once they get it. And that's the problem that we have in Nevis. Perhaps there needs to be a coordinating team to take care of these ideas once the ideas come in, because the ideas are just going poof through, coming in one door or one window and going out the next.
Well,
that's the unfortunate part.
Well, once we come to government, those ideas will be on paper.
Of course. Of course.
Thank you, caller.
In 24 hours.
All right.
We are going through, again, a recolonization of these. The Europeans colonized Africa and these islands, and they work us into slavery. Their descendants are coming back to recolonize us, and so they have to bring us to our knees for something. When you look and we follow this free society movement that they're having, this free society wants to take over the Caribbean all the way down to South America. They want to control it. We have big people who have billions of dollars, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, all of them with the same mentality. I took the time out to look at some interviews that was done with Ver and a couple of others, people who was influencing those areas, and their target in our lands. Unfortunately, the Premier of Nevis is on board with them. not only the Premier of Navies, but it appears to me that the members of the government in St. Kitts are on board with them. And you listen across of some of the other islands, even all the way down to Jamaica, excepting Barbados, all of them are on board in this recolonization matter.
Except Barbados, you said?
I was saying, except Mr. Barbados involved though? Okay then, forgive me. I haven't heard it, okay? But I'm saying that the European people, they want to recolonize us, and our leaders are in favor with them. I'm going to go back to where you profess about the CBI, the attack on the CBI. Apart from recolonization, I've been asking myself, how do we get here? When you look, I listen mostly to Antigua and St. Kitts and Nevis when it comes to CBI. I don't listen to the others. I cannot get the stations them. Perhaps I don't try. But the attack on the CBI by the opposition to Denzel Douglas, the attack of the CBI in opposition to Dr. Harris, the attack on the CBI in opposition to Dr. Joe. And then we have the Premier of Nevis, who is one of the most influential voices out there. Attack it on all fronts and telling the world that the CBI in Nevis is corrupt to the core. When I listen to Antigua, it's the very same thing up in Antigua. The CBI is corrupt to the core. So when we are sending out to the rest of the world, from within us, among ourselves, that this system is so corrupt, then we are telling them they have to safeguard themselves from us, which is unfortunate. The biggest case I would have had with CBI came with the Philip Martinez. And Philip Martinez made no bones to say that he took his cue to do what he did from the Premier Mark Brantley. Because Mark Brantley is the one who came out and said how cheap and what corruption was going on inside the CBI. And then the whole thing blew up and it's gone all over the world.
The thing about it, Tulu, not to cut you off, but you remember the gentleman in Canada who was stopped with a citizen with our passport? Whatever his name was. It was all over the internet, all over the airspace. People were prosecuting the case as if our life depended on it. Every time a Chinese national is caught with our passport, I mean, it's a big sundance politically. 1%. And what is that doing? It's highlighting the fact that the Europeans are looking at information and say, you see, you guys can't manage yourselves.
Yes.
We have to protect ourselves. But let me get on to something here real quick. All right? Let's see what this is. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Hi, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Daly, Mr. Daniel, and Mr. Tulu.
Good afternoon.
I think you guys might disagree with me, right? But the CBI, I was not too happy about the CBI, okay? Because I think whoever came up with that idea of how the CBI was purchased and how it was shared among the sellers and what the government did. I think that it was a great injustice to all islands who is doing CBI, that the person who does the selling get that much money and the government gets so little. Okay? I think the CBI should have been for the people of the islands whose passport was being used for the CBI money, not to those people who were selling it. And I really hated it. I don't like it. And I think whoever drawn up that agreement, I call them fools and idiots, because that money should have been going to the people of St. Kitts Nevis, the people of Grenada, the people of Antigua, properly spent on our infrastructure, on our education and our health care. Instead of that, the Chinese or whoever was doing it run away with all the money. Okay? What do we have, including our own prime ministers and people in the government that also took their share? What did the people get? They didn't profit. The people of the island did nothing. We have nothing to show for it. All the money gone on the drain. So I am not mad that Europe and whoever is saying that, they're saying that. I think it should be shut down. Okay? I know you guys might disagree with me, but that's how I see it.
That's fine.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Respect your opinion.
Everybody, listen, you're not the only person who thinks that way. There's quite a bit of persons on Sinkers and Nevis who believe that we really made a bad decision by going after a CBI product. But it is what it is. It's already there. Let's take this call. Sorry. Good afternoon, Target.
Good afternoon. We say same thing. Tomorrow night, we will also be in it. Think it Navy. I believe that every time a passport right job is the Prime Minister. Well, for me, time the right job. Wherever they be, and they want my passport, bring me money. I want no passport. So we should have all the money. We not supposed to say, not this, not that, not all over the world. And I get that. Them crazy. Eh? But you're craziness, man.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, sir. I mean, like I said, we can sit all day and argue about what is and what should have happened and all that.
What is right now?
What is right now before us? What
What
is before us right now is a disaster. Mm-hmm. And you can imagine being on the Titanic, for example. You got a choice whether jumping in the water to save yourself, and you say, you know what?
I'll stay on the boat.
I'm gonna stay on the boat because I'm build it. No.
If I jump in the water, I'm going to die from the freezing water. If I start on the boat, it's going to go down and still end up in the same freezing water. So it is a case where they normally say, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
The fact is, we are in it.
Yeah.
And I am not one to be throwing stones at the empty mango tree. We are in it. Yeah. The question then is, how do we, number one, wean ourselves off of it? Number two, how do we address the issue of the EU looking to pull the plug in 2 years? And the number three, to the caller's point, how do we reform it in a way, if you're going to stay with it for the next 2 years, to make sure most of the resources go to the people of the country and not to some agent somewhere in Saudi Arabia?
Exactly.
Now, those are things here and there. But there's another solution to this. Because the issue the Europeans are asking, saying is concerned to them, is a matter of national security. Mm-hmm. That persons without passports are transiting through their countries and causing mayhem. Mm-hmm. They have not provided any statistics, nor the need to do so. They simply do not want it.
Yeah, and that's it.
And that's it.
But
hold on, let me finish something here. But look at it. Europe is where it is because of us in the Caribbean.
And we help them.
Europe is where it is because of Africa and the Caribbean, the descendants of Africa.
Yes.
It's our blood and tears that built Europe, that financed the Industrial Revolution in Europe.
In England.
And they're still extracting from us our natural resources. Take away the Caribbean, take away Africa, and Europe is nothing. All this talk about reparations. Nothing has happened. Look at it. 5 countries in the Caribbean with CBI programs.
Out of 12.
5 in the Caribbean. Eastern Caribbean in particular. The rest of the CARICOM, none. But in the Eastern Caribbean, we have 5. Fully fledged. And those 5 countries have been able to build an infrastructure, build a currency union that is the strongest it's ever been.
Most powerful bank.
All right? These are facts. This is not debatable. The largest single reserve we've ever built is currently right now with Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. $155 million profit just this year alone. Mm-hmm. Last year, 2025. You're not talking about peas, you're talking about real money. Mm-hmm. So we can criticize as much as we like. The facts are Our exchange rate with the US dollar has been stabilized for 50 years. Look what happened in Barbados. Devaluation after devaluation. Jamaica. Guyana. Trinidad. Devaluation after devaluation. Why? Because they have no currency union that is backing their dollar. Everybody got their own currency. Everybody got their own central bank, and the central bank has not been able to withstand the pressure of the global pressure. But here's my solution to this. If the Europeans are genuinely concerned about the if the Europeans are genuinely concerned that this is a security risk for them, and if they were to pull the plug, it'll cause massive destabilization in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, then why don't we start talking in numbers? Let's talk about numbers. The European Union in 2025 spent the equivalent of, let me get the figures here, I don't want to misquote them, 477 billion US dollars on defense, on military spending. In this year, 2026, they're projected to spend 518 billion US dollars on military defense. Well, 2%, they're saying 2%, between 2 and 2.5% of the GDP is going toward military defense. What about 0.001% of that going to help Caribbean countries get out of under CBI for the next 10 years? Why not say, listen, we are going to contribute $1 billion a year or $5 billion a year to the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union to stabilize the currency, get the diversified program going, get geothermal going. Why not do that? Because why?
Black.
Because we are not supposed to survive.
No.
We are supposed to be for sale. We are supposed to be running for our lives, give up our lands, move away, and they come in and take what they want.
You know,
because they can easily afford to compensate Caribbean countries in exchange for us giving up CBI for the first 10 years to make sure that we can survive this catastrophe that is unfolding right before our eyes. Listen, we can play as stupid as we want. Money don't run from facts. Facts and money run together.
So here it is, Kel. Remember the EU, well, Britain and the EU, they were saying the sugar industry is dead. It's not profitable, we must finish with it. It took the government a lot of time to deal with it. Dr. Douglas, the British government compensated the slave owners and left the slaves to fend for themselves. And it is in line with what they will continue to do. So what is important for us is to sit down as a society and as a people, and as you are saying there, craft some measures. For us, the EU is not going to do that. The British government earlier this year said they are going to reduce their foreign aid to put some more into defense, because they're saying they want to beef up the defense. So Prime Minister Starmer said that they were cutting British aid to the Caribbean. Nobody in the Caribbean expects Britain to help us, and the EU. So what we have to do is to do the things that they would want from us, secure our resources, and find alternate poles for growth. The poles for growth are certainly in Asia and in Africa. Forget the EU not going to help us. They've exploited us enough.
They're not going to help us. And while we have the battle with the EU, we have another battle with the United States now, because they have targeted us, and according to Marco Rubio, they want to get rid of the scum, the most despicable people, and they are asking us to accept them. And when I listened to Holness recently, Holness is saying that America is saying that they need help to clean up their borders, and they are our neighbors and our friends, so we have to help them. And so all these islands now are under the U.S. radar, that if you do not take the foreign deportees that we want to send to your country, then we are going to come after you. And so they are looking at their visa to run to America and whatever aid America has. And so the European Union and the Americans, they are hell-bent on one position. They want to recolonize us. They want to take over. The Americans say what? The Caribbean and Latin America is at their front door, their back door, something that they call it is theirs. And so they want to do what they want. Okay? And so they are going to come and take over because our leaders are weak. We are not standing together, as Dr. Daly says. Gaston Brown stood up and said, no. Where is the voice of the others to join him and say, as a unit, not that we could bang off America or beat out the European Union, but we should be sending one voice saying to them, what you're doing to us is unjust. And we understand what you're doing to us.
Let me say something, right? We do not have an infinite amount of money in our governments. And so somehow decisions would have to be made of how best we now start to spend. I can see a scenario where serious cuts are being made, especially to social safety net programs,
All of those are going
if not eliminated.
It will be cut.
Because you're not adding to productivity, you're simply supporting poor people. You can expect to see cuts in education and healthcare. Those are the easy targets by the IMF. Draconian cuts. But there is an area of recovery that we have not really been focused on, and that is how do we stamp out significant portions of the corruption.
30%, 40%.
Right? If we were able to recover that percentage from corruption, and based on the IMF report, 30% of every dollar, 30 cents of every dollar disappears into thin air. And so there is money in the system if you can recover it. But the systems that are there are designed to protect the identity of those persons and to protect them from prosecution. Mm-hmm. All right? And so it is very difficult to get full cooperation and recovery of 30%. But the question still remains, will we see a change now in direction from the federal government and the NIA to coalesce around the single idea of geothermal? Would we see it?
Well,
because if you're going to sacrifice the pepper piece and the step and the pap and all that, it's going to cause a lot of social disruption. Mm-hmm. Right? That's a fact. There's an argument there. All right? The people who want those programs will fall through the cracks if they were to be removed from these programs. How then do we survive as a catastrophe like this that is right on the doorstep? What conversation should we be having? You said, and Tula said, the EU, don't expect the EU to do anything. No. I would just put out a scenario where if they can do what they do, fine. But I don't expect them to do anything because they have never done it in the past.
I heard two proposals to deal with this. The Prime Minister said that we must look towards Africa. Also, the leader of Barbados, Ms. Motley, they're talking about having linkages between Africa, especially West Africa, and the Caribbean, having airlines and what's not, doing trade and everything there. That is one.
Has anybody quantified that trade?
I haven't heard that yet.
But that's the point.
We
are talking without
so
data.
They're talking,
you have to have data. What is the level of trade?
You are looking to countries who are just as badly off as we.
Exactly.
So the blind leading the blind?
No.
I mean, I have no difficulty exploring the possibilities.
But it must be driven by data.
But you must be saying, well,
the trade balance is X million.
What is it we are hoping to accomplish from this? I have yet to see a single white paper or blue paper
or
green paper quantifying the value of that trade.
That relationship and the trade?
The trade between US and the Caribbean has been quantified for years. We can go and find that. between us and the European Union is quantified. We can find that. But
that?
how do we quantify it now? How we start moving towards? And I have no difficulty with it here. You got to start somewhere. And I agree with Mia Motley. I agree with the Prime Minister Drew. We now not need to start looking for our own benefit elsewhere for friends. I have no difficulty with that. But let's be realistic. Let us be realistic. That new cooperation between us and the Africans, they ain't going to materialize no time soon.
No.
That is true. And then the Premier of Nevis has another option to Dr. Joe. And his option is what he wants to do on the South.
Oh, that is not an option. That is foolishness.
That is his view.
No,
okay?
that don't have no economic sense.
The way we are going to counteract, sell yourselves out and put yourself back into colonization, allow yourself to be colonized.
Mr. Weeks, do not list that as a sensible thing.
I didn't say
that
sensible.
Is foolishness.
Gentlemen.
I'm not saying sensible a bit.
That is not economic policy.
Good afternoon on Target.
Good afternoon. The way this is on the blind child in the blind. We're going to get from Africa. I saw my family down there. I'm black leader. We're going to get up to them. My mother, yeah.
All right, well.
Well. Thank you. Because I wonder what I know.
Thank you, sir.
We have to be thinking of new poles of growth, new relations, and we have to be sending to the EU that you all have not been helping us, so there's no need for us to keep you. If we can't do the CBI through you, see you. Let's have some discussion with Canada. Let's have some discussion. No. Well, you have a good prime minister in Canada. You have the Asian countries, and we have one of them here with us as who is $1 billion economy.
But Henry,
what you don't think? Kel, I mean, we disagree on this. Why don't you think Taiwan should help us?
Taiwan would not divulge, would not give you no chip making factory. They have never built one overseas in any territory. They are the largest. They control 90% of the world manufacturing of chips. You keep coming back with this thing.
So
why
are they with us? So what is the point?
Because they want us
to give us gifts every day in their Christmas.
We are supporting them, voting for them when we go to United Nations. Our vote is that.
Good afternoon on Target. Good afternoon on Target.
You can't really worry the Prime Minister now. Our Prime Minister think his name, listen. Because our Prime Minister knows, okay, the proposal that was proposed for Destiny in Nevis, and yet still, okay, he refused to come out publicly, right, and state where he stands on that, okay? We heard Mark said that the Prime Minister agreed with it and the Prime Minister wanted to go through. We all know that that is detrimental to St. Kitts Nevis, okay? So why don't the Prime Minister come up and say he don't agree with it and he won't let it pass, but just keep people in suspense waiting? Okay? He already talking about Rastafari and Rastafarism. Okay? He talks about Africa a lot. But what is he doing? He's going to sell us back to the slave master?
Mm-hmm.
Eh? Another big thing about it, where I tell you guys about the CBI, they want to use our CBI for that project. I mean, how stupid can we be?
Broke people coming.
Eh? How stupid can we be as a people to allow stuff like that? And the sickening thing is not just St. Kitts Nevis. There's a level of corruption beyond people comprehension in the Eastern Caribbean with the English-speaking island that is independent. Yeah? The Prime Minister gets in there and they just do whatever they feel like. Nobody can do them nothing. There are laws in the land. They don't uphold the laws. They do whatever they feel like. And you can't do them nothing. You understand? But let you go. They're doing white collar crime, they call it. Okay? Let you go now with your frustration and deal with one of them. You will see your father lock you up, even for speaking. But they're allowed to do man of evil, whatever they feel like doing. And nobody can touch them, nobody can do them nothing. And it's not St. Kitts Nevis alone. It's the whole Caribbean have the problem right now. So when the Prime Minister talking about linking with Africa, don't worry them with the foolishness. It's whatever they desire and what's profitable to them, not to the people. None of them in there right now, you care about the people. That's the problem we have in the Caribbean. CBI for me is a no-no. When they started CBI, they should have added that way, probably that way, for about 3 years. You go and you train your own people. Okay? After 3 to 5 years, you remove those people who you hire to do the job for you, let your own people do it.
I hear you, brother.
Why is it losing all the money to these people? And then the little that we get, government, the people who is in government, taking the money and sharing it among themselves? No, man.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. We got to move on, gentlemen, real quick because we almost out of time. And we got 2 more things to cover real quick. We were greeted with the wonderful news this week that NEVLAC has decided to reduce the household surcharge by 2 cents. So I know that I can go by Lauret Bakery on Monday and buy extra $2 bread because that's about the savings I will get from the 2 cents decrease.
After a month?
And then for commercial spaces, commercial businesses, you will get 12 cents, a reduction in 12 cents. You're now tagged at 67 cents. And so we should be grateful to the Premier for 12 cents for commercial rates and 2 cents for household rates. The problem of the surcharge is the same as we have articulated before, that the government is now claiming that between the 12 cents for commercial and the 2 cents for households, they are subsidizing NEVLAC by in the tune of 14 cents per kilowatt hour.
Not subsidize nothing.
Right? The problem with that scenario, of course, is that they're not paying. So the 14 cents is accumulating on the books of NEVLAC as red debt.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, you have the fact that they are not paying their bills, and so on top of the surcharge, they say they're subsidizing, and on top of the bills they're not paying, they're also not paying the bills for the seniors that are on the program. So that is why I am predicting by the end of this year, NEVLAC's debt will move from 70 million to 80 to 85 million. That is a reality that's facing us. Because right now, the households and businesses on NEVIS are holding the strain on NEVLAC. We are the ones holding the strain on NEVLAC, not the NIA, because the NIA is not paying what they should be paying to keep the utility afloat. That is a fact. Those are facts. All right? And watch my words. Between now and December 30th, 31st, NEVLAC will be further in the red by another $5 to $10 million.
You want to threaten us?
No, I'm just telling you the reality. I'm just telling you the reality. These are facts. All right, let's see what this is. Good afternoon. Make it quick, please.
Yeah, I just want to support that caller just now, man. You know, our Prime Minister, I'm calling him out this afternoon. The man is like a coward. The man is not acting as Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. The man can't even tell Mark what his personal opinion is on that Destiny project. The man didn't have to create that ad hoc committee. He didn't have to. The buck stopped with him with that SSC law, and he's going to sign off on that Destiny project. The man needed to just come to the Federation and say what his opinion is and what he believes. We got these two guys got St. Kitts and Nevis deadlocked, man. And the people, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis need to take the country back from these two fellas. We got to get off this path that we on. And just like the other caller said, man, there's a lot of corruption, bro. A lot of corruption in St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean. And they're watching the Destiny thing for Nevis as a dry run. And they're just waiting to see if Destiny is going to go through in Nevis. And if we just sit there and let that project go through, bro, you're going to see how we spread through the whole Caribbean. And lastly, I'm calling out the reparations committee. We ain't got reparations yet. We're just going to take our lands and give it back. And then the narrative that you had a little bit earlier about the EU, then if the only way to stop that Destiny, because I understand they want to push it through the CBI program, well, maybe we need to call out to the EU and tell them, hurry up, cancel out that CBI programs. I'll leave it there, man. You guys have a good day.
Thank you, sir. All right, we gotta get moving. My good friend Larry Bryan says she gonna charge me $5 for $2 bread.
Oh, she doesn't want you to get the savings.
She said I should because I called she named Larry Bryan Penny Radio. She gonna charge me $5 for $2 bread.
Okay, so you're paying $3 for calling her name.
That's a serious interest level.
But he'll be able, you will be only able to buy one bread per month, right? $1 bread per month?
Well, once a week. Once a
So
week.
it's $2 a week, you're gonna say?
Yeah, $2 a kilowatt hour. 2 cents.
2 cents a week?
Yeah, well,
$2 a week?
She gonna give me one free, don't worry.
Okay.
Me and she like that. She'll give me some. She'll give me a few one. Once she realizes I ain't got no money for bread. Okay. Last thing on the agenda before we go, we need to talk about the Vance Amy International Airport project.
Oh my.
And the land issue, the land side issue, as the Premier likes to call it.
We need a month for that.
I know, but we don't have a month. So we got a few minutes. We got 15 minutes thereabouts. And I recall telling you before, and your pops nobody know, that $20 billion was procured by the government through National Bank for the land side development, meaning acquisition of lands. We are now suspecting very, we are now suspecting that $20 million would be nowhere near enough.
But if you're paying $5 a square foot, it might be enough.
No, it ain't gonna happen. That money will not be enough, sufficient to pay out landowners. I don't know how they came up with the $20 million, but it's clear from my basic assessment that it would not be enough to cover the bills. You're talking about 60 acres of lands of different values. You have businesses that will have to be displaced and reconstituted. You're not only paying for the land and the property and the buildings, but you're also paying for loss of income from those businesses. I don't anticipate $20 million to be near enough to deal with that part of it. Now, the other issue, of course, is the growing conflict with the Yarwoods. The Yarwoods own 1.75 or 1.8 acres on the seaside part of the land side development. So without their land, you really cannot extend the runway as you see fit. It is strategically located, it's on beachfront, and a communication was received by the Yarwoods in September of last year, asking them to negotiate, or they didn't ask them, they're demanding the property to be sold to them for $5 a square foot. Of course, that wasn't happening, and rightly so, because when you compare what they paid for the property up by the Holy Pier, $86 a square foot, and you're offering the Yarwoods $5 a square foot, it is really insulting. So that is not going to fly. Having that conversation going nowhere, rather than really recalibrate and come with an offer that can be acceptable, they decided to move right away to acquisition. Compulsory acquisition. Now, the legislation is there on the books, mind you, that any land for the public good can be acquired.
Eminent domain.
You can be acquired. All right? So that was done. They did the correct things by posting the acquisition in the paper, in the gazetted the acquisition in the paper, and by the second gazette, of course, it now becomes the property of the Crown. All right. Now, they would have gone 2 days ago and planted a post on the Yarwoods land with attached to it was the gazetted acquisition document, and they're required to do that by law. They need to post it. I would have been privy to that posting a minute after the nail was driven.
A minute after.
A minute after I got evidence of the posting. I didn't have anybody staked out. I just
No, you don't have to say Hawaii.
I got evidence.
You don't say
I immediately sent that evidence to the Yarwoods. And I said, were you aware of this? Of course not. Nobody knew. And so I made the post. I guess the persons who in high authority saw the post and went and ripped the post out the ground along with the signs. Because about a half hour to 45 minutes after I would have shared that information with the Yarwoods, one of the Yarwoods went to look for the post
and couldn't
find nothing. It looked like they even full in the hole.
So it's not true that government can't get things done right away. It's not true.
They walk the length and breadth.
And not even see the hole.
Even outside of their own property. And not even
the hole was there?
Not even, they couldn't even find where the grass was disturbed. So they must have walked with extra grass to put in the hole.
Clean job, man. Clean job.
Clean. Alright, so I got a phone call. You sure? What I said, I sent you the picture, right? You saw the area. It is your land. But there's nothing here. I walked it twice. I said, walk it again. I said, look down and see if you see any hole. He said, not in the hole.
Not a trace. Not a trace.
So somebody went and ripped out and plugged back up the hole. But here's the funny thing. And the question is why? Why did they do it? And I want to share with you why. All right? I want to share with you why. Give me a second here while I pull up my phone. And I'll read to you the ordinance, which dictated why they did it.
Why they pull it back out?
Why they pull it out.
Remove it?
Right?
I would love to hear that.
No, I don't have to read this because I take too much time. The long and short is this. The Master Library would assign as Governor General authorizing, basically giving a signature to this.
Assenting to it.
Right? And I would have been speaking to some friends of mine who are lawyers. And they seem to have a different opinion to the caller. And says, as a Governor General, you do have the authority with your personnel attached to you to investigate before you sign. You might not, you might still sign, but you have the authority. And then at least you have the way thought to say, boy, this is a little shady. Let me talk to them boy privately and see what happens. But that's beside the point. The point is this. The reason why they removed the sign, because that sign was the final nail in the coffin, which would trigger the Governor General to now create, what they call it thing here now, a board of assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Also, now
for fair price.
Because the Yarwoods are contesting the price. This was not a negotiated price.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So because it is in dispute, the board of assessment will be appointed by the Governor General.
Okay.
And that board of assessment will consist of a High Court judge and two other persons who will look at the whole process and determine the fair market value plus interest plus penalties, whatever it is.
So Mark Brandy still hasn't gotten anything right?
So the reason they went
and took it up.
Took it up. They didn't want to trigger the Governor General. Because she would have been made aware that the Yarwoods are not in agreement and Yarwoods are contesting this price they were given, and therefore they run quick
to remove it.
No. Here's another interesting thing. A call was made to the Yarwoods on Friday to say, please come to a meeting with us on Monday. But the NIA,
for what?
To negotiate a settlement.
So why you didn't do that before?
Because they don't want the Governor General to authorize the creation of this assessment board. You see how wicked and nasty these people are? You see how wicked and nasty these people are? Huh? What would it have taken for them to sit down across the table with the Yarwoods, just like they did with everybody else, and say, boys, girls, let's just talk about this? Because the Yarwoods have expressed publicly that they are not in opposition to them parting with the land for public good. They have said it repeatedly. We want this project to proceed. We don't want to be the stumbling blocks. Nobody can point a finger at us as a family and say it's you stop the project. So they were willing and able to say, listen, take the land, but pay us a fair market price. They refused to do that.
But even pay them what the NRP paid them then for a square foot.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
It must be an agreement.
It must be an agreement.
Because the Yarwoods now have the option, if this thing is not settled, to take the matter before the court, you know.
Mm-hmm. Even though the governor signed it?
Even the governor signed it.
Okay.
It's by law. So they ran quickly and take up the post and cover up the hole.
So then the premier who claimed to be the brightest bulb in the room, he did not know that when the governor signed this document, then she will have the right to put this board in place. He did not know that.
Once there's a disagreement, the governor general have the authority
to set up the board.
Yeah. To convene the board. That's a fact.
But it made sense to negotiate with the people.
Look, Carla, you got 1 second.
I know I have 1 second, but it is so funny because the bulldozer minister, advisor to the premier and his show, started calling all the prices that they paid for beachfront, starting by Herbert Beach or even further, coming down to the Joneses, whatever. And there's something called an average. He even make the case even better for Alice to them on his show Friday. Because he's saying how much they pay come all the way down. And if you look at the average, it's still ain't falling between what they want to pay Alice to them. The guy's an idiot. So I don't even know what kind of advisor he is. His average for lands that he start from Herbert Beach, come all the way down, is killing the point that he's saying, oh, they take what they get. So I don't understand what he's talking about, because he actually killed himself, because if you're selling all these lands coming down, which you say is beachfront, and how much you paid, 10 something for some, 8 something for some, 7 something for some, but yet you want to give Alistair them 5 for these. Doesn't even fall within the average line. So that's why they want to pull up everything. But Mark needs to watch his advisor, because he ain't got no point and he's the dumbest thing on the face of the earth.
Oh,
my God.
I agree with you on that. The dumbest thing on the face of the earth is exactly about right. I've heard this man argue some points and I was like, what? Really? Anyway. So, you know.
So there's a meeting on Monday.
Hoping to get to the bottom of this negotiated state settlement. I do hope they come to a conclusion and everybody can walk away feeling that they've gotten something.
I would like the board of survey. I want a board of assessment. If I were the Yarwoods, I wouldn't go. I would allow the board of assessment.
You have to go in good faith.
You have to go in good faith.
No, I don't have any good faith with people who don't have none in me. So you take up my land, you acquire it, you sign it, and then I must act in good faith. So what kind of foolishness is this? No.
I mean, I could understand you.
I'm just making a point.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Why negotiate the people who have showed a bad face all along?
Okay.
You know?
And you know, Kel, suppose the assessment say, pay me $500,000. The government say, okay, we'll pay $500 a month.
The thing about it, in speaking to the Yarwoods, what they've expressed to me is this. We know that the government doesn't probably can't afford to pay us the full price of the land. And we are fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something called cash and there's something called kind.
Mm-hmm.
We are taxpayers.
Trader.
We are business people.
Trader.
We trade off something.
Yeah, importation, taxes on hotels.
I mean, we will take some cash, whatever you can afford to pay in cash.
Customs duties.
But then the rest is made up in kind.
Customs duties.
Fair deal.
Yeah.
Right? So they are trying to be as flexible as possible. A lot of people wouldn't even try that. Right. And so they have bent over backwards to meet the government halfway.
Willing to make a sacrifice. For the people of Nevis.
Of course.
Again. Another sacrifice again.
And so, but when you put people like Zook and Eric...
Okay, Ken, let me ask you. Suppose you were representing the Yarwoods on Monday, what would be your position?
My position? I'll bring my surveyor. I'll bring my evaluator. I'll bring my team with me.
Okay.
for them to do the talking for me.
Okay.
Let the numbers talk for themselves.
Exactly.
All right. I'm not going to sit there and bellyache about anything.
No.
Let the numbers talk for themselves.
Professional way to go.
Right. So my lawyer will be there. My land assessor will be there.
Surveyor.
Yeah, of course. And they'll answer the questions.
Right.
This is the value of the land. This is the price for the land. Let us talk that. Nothing else.
Land in the vicinity costs X.
Okay. Whatever it is. So that is what I would listen. These are smart business people. I don't need to advise them. They would have all of these are real estate people.
But you're not saying the government smart.
I can't say that in good faith. I really can't say that. I mean, for a simple thing like this, even a foul pen they can't get right. Oh, Lord, man. And this is why we lose so much in our resources from all these idiot decisions that cost us. Look at it. One last point before I go. Rest Haven ended up costing us
20-something million.
22 million more than we should have gotten, what we should have paid for it.
Yeah.
22 million more it costs us than we should have paid for it.
It's reckless.
So we all see and we all know where we're going in this country here. You know, and so anyway, we are finished. We don't want to intercede on the cricket. I would ask you to stay tuned for the cricket if you're a cricket lover like myself. And we'll see you next week, Saturday, God willing. Be good, be safe, and be careful out there. Bye.